So I can't even believe I'm admitting this, but the 2023 real estate market, so we're coming into the end of 2023, and just like last year, it's time to do a year-end recap. So the way we're gonna recap this year is by talking about some of the highs and some of the lows. A quick summary on what we've seen this year is artificial intelligence has completely taken over, especially in the real estate market. The Eagles almost won the Super Bowl, which was definitely a low of the year. There have been multiple international wars that's created a lot of uncertainty in lots of different markets. And the real estate market has gotten completely flipped upside down. So let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and start with some of the bad news, because everyone loves starting with bad news. So low number one, interest rates. Let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. They've gone up. Some parts of this year, they went to over 8%. They started the year a lot lower than that. They were a lot lower than that the last couple of years, and that's the part of the problem. A lot of buyers were so accustomed to the COVID interest rates, which were very historically low. Everyone was saying it at the time, and now we're seeing they were right. They were historically low. Not only did rising interest rates spook buyers, it also scared a lot of sellers off. A lot of sellers who wanted to upgrade the house because they wanted a little bit more space. Whatever it is, the sellers who wanted to sell aren't selling anymore because they have the golden handcuff. They locked in a house a couple years ago at a 3% or 2.5% interest rate, and now they're paying double, triple what that would be in a monthly mortgage payment just for a different house. Sellers are not selling houses because they want to. They're only selling if they have to. So rising interest rates not only reduce the number of buyers that are looking, it also reduced the number of sellers, in turn, who were a lot of the buyers as well in the last couple of years. So it's really had a huge impact on the market, not just on the buyer side, but on the seller side as well. Which leads us into low point number two. There's a lot of confusion around whether this is a buyer's market or a seller's market right now. Historically, at least since COVID, we've known that the market, especially in Charlotte, has been very, very favorable for sellers. It has been a seller's market. There were certain points in time where we had less than 1 month of inventory for months on end. And so what that did was it made everyone aware that buyers needed to do whatever they could in order to secure the house. There was so much competition. Buyers were coming in with high due diligence fees, high offer prices, massive earnest money deposits, you name it. The contracts were getting insane because there was so much competition because it was a seller's market. Now it's a very sub-market specific market. Every sub-market, whether it's within price point, location, zip code, whatever it is, it's very hyper-specific as to whether or not it's better for buyers or better for sellers. So there's a lot of confusion right now between the buyers and between the sellers as to whether or not it's still a seller's market or has it shifted into a buyer's market. Which leads us into the third and final low of 2023. There is still not a lot of inventory. Buyers are still struggling to find homes because there's no inventory. Because a lot of the inventory was coming from sellers who were trying to upgrade or downgrade, whatever it was, they were moving around, which was creating more opportunities for inventory and more transactions. It gave buyers more options. There are less options now because those sellers are staying put in their home. They're not just selling because they might as well. Buyers are not buying because they might as well. They're buying because they have a true purpose to buy. People are selling because they have a true reason to sell. And what that's doing is it is keeping inventory rates very low. And with low inventory, you would think buyers would be more open to different things in houses and different floor plans, and they would be a little more compromising when it comes to buying a house, but they're not. Because interest rates are still so high, it costs buyers a lot more money to be able to purchase the same house. And so they're pickier because it's costing them more money to buy the same house they could have gotten a couple years ago for a lot less. And so with buyers being pickier, that's what's creating this very weird market where some houses are flying off really fast and some houses are sitting for hundreds of days on end because buyers are very picky and inventory is super low. So it's been a very weird year in the real estate market, but that doesn't mean it's bad for buyers. It doesn't mean it's bad for sellers. And it does mean we're going to get into some of the highs now of the 2023 market. First off, it just blows my mind, is that with how volatile the real estate market was and how volatile the global market was, Charlotte still remains one of the top cities that people choose to move to every single day. There are hundreds of people moving to the city every day. There are new restaurants opening every day, new breweries opening every day, new shops opening every single day. Go walk through South Park Mall. You'll see all kinds of construction in there. That's because people want to be here. So that is one of the best things that could have come out of this year, is that Charlotte is still thriving, Charlotte is still standing strong, and Charlotte is still an amazing place to be. And if you don't believe me, you should go check my Why Charlotte video that I posted a few weeks ago, because we talk all about all of the amazing things that are going on in this city, and that's why this city is still thriving, even through the craziness of the last year. So that leads me into point number 2. Why did Charlotte thrive through this past year? Well, housing prices continued to keep going up. Maybe they didn't go up as fast as they did in 2021 or 2022, but this past year, housing prices continued to rise in Charlotte. And even with rising interest rates, statistically speaking, and historically and economically, whoever you want to talk to, they would think that if interest rates go up, prices go down. But here, interest rates went up and prices continued to rise. And that's because Charlotte is a strong market, and there are still a lot of people that are trying to buy in Charlotte. Affordability is high, quality of life is really good. There are a lot of things that draw a lot of people to Charlotte. And so there were still multiple offer situations on houses, even while interest rates were hitting 8% and higher. So even though things were changing a lot with interest rates and with the market, Charlotte was continuing to hold firm. Charlotte was continuing to grow. While it was still a good market for sellers, it started slowly creeping up into a good market for buyers. Not necessarily a buyer's market, because a buyer's market means that there's more than 6 months of inventory, which we still do not have. So it is still a seller's market, but it became a better market for buyers in certain price points and certain locations in Charlotte. And especially if you're looking at new construction, it has been an amazing market for buyers. And lastly, the third high or good thing that come out of 2023, the best agents are still out there. The best agents are still working. The best agents are the ones who are still pivoting and finding creative ways to help you as a seller sell your home. The best agents are out there helping buyers get creative to find a home that makes sense for them. They're not pitching you on why you need to buy right now, why you need to sell right now. We are the ones who are out here helping you understand that if your goal is to sell a home or your goal is to buy a home, we want to make sure that it makes sense for you, and then we can help you with that. So with all of that being said, 2023 sure has been an interesting year, and I'll tell you what, I am very curious and very excited to see what 2024 has to bring. So if you want to know what 2024 has to bring, or at least what I think, be sure to like, subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you next year.